What's up, YouTube? 2020 Tantra on Amazon. Crown Tantra now available as well. Info in the description. You can find me on all forms of social media. So how are sports fixed? First of all, anybody that's ever put geometry into motion, they know geometry more than anyone that's ever practiced it. Knowing is of no equity. There is no equity in knowing. There's only equity in practice. Practice is the closest that anyone will ever get to perfection. So anyone that has never put the geometry into practice will never get what I'm saying. So this is only for really pretty much the people that practice the geometry within and without. So they've played with the geometry externally to where they can see how light travels and how to channel light to create a reality, because you're creating the movie that you're living in from the first person and from third person, whatever you want to call it, the third eye, the first eye, whatever you want to call that. So when you have high-level sports, you have a stadium, which is basically a room, which is a reflection of any room, because everything is a reflection of the one source. So the entire universe is in that room, in that stadium. There's a representative of every single person in that stadium. They're a reflection of 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 the source, but it's there. And if they're not there, then there's a representative watching the broadcast. So every single sporting event that has a room, that has a stage, this is a stage. Sport is game. Life is a game. Game means sacrifice. That's why hunting is game. They call it hunting game. You need a game license to hunt, because hunting is game. The game is what is the chicken, is what gets murdered. That's why the balls are made with leather, because something has to die to play. Not only does the animal die, the people die. The idols and the idolizers die. Idolizers are the ones watching, and the idols are the ones that think that they're playing, but they're also watching from a passive position. They're the servers, the titans that we're watching on the stage. Because the stage itself is set. Somebody set this table, and then it's to be eaten from. That's why it's a bowl. That's why it's a stage. It's a set stage. It's energy. So you place all this energy, all these gods in one place, and make them focus on the body. And then you get a bunch of other people focusing on their body. All that energy going to their body. So then they identify with the body instead of the God within them. Instead of being able to levitate, they can just jump real high. So, because all those limitations, all those projections of limitation are there. And you go into society and you're subjecting your body to it. So people are projecting all day. So you have billions of pineal glands projecting and crystallizing limitation. So you bring your body into it. You're bringing God in the body into their projection. So as you go into their projection of limitation, where they're a fan already, a fanatic, they're already a person that is separate from the source because they're watching. They're not the source. They're not the producer. So they're the parasite. The parallel site. So anybody that's ever played with the geometry, anybody that's ever played basketball or any sports or anything like that, they play the game, and then they realize that if somebody's watching them, that their projection, their vision, that projection is there, that overlay is there. So if you're shooting a shot and someone is envisioning limitation and misses, and they have limitations within them, just to shoot around them, you're playing around that limitation. That is crystallizing around you, just to even play around that. So, with that said, you got to do the alchemy for people every time. This is how you make. This is what makes a great athlete great. They take all those projections, that energy from the focus, and they take it. They can close their eyes and they can remember a made shot, and they turn all those misses, all that energy, and those limitations into a made shot, and then they go out and make the shot. And then you say that they're God or they're amazing. And it's your energy the whole time. And they realize it too, so then it makes them selfless too. And if they don't realize it, then they become egotistical. And then they just start to fragment their consciousness. And then they unconsciously, organically project their consciousness. Because that's what having a child is organic conscious projection. So a lot of athletes do that. That's why a lot of athletes suffer from ankle injuries. Because they're oversexed. You know, when you don't have, when you release the ankles line up with the testicles and the ovaries when they're in the fetal position. So that's from the same tissue. When there's no blood in the reproductive organs, then the ankles don't have as much blood, so then they get injured easily. Same thing with all the joints. Your brain can't even think the same if you're spilling seed. So that's what sacred geometry really is. Practically, and again, practice is perfection, and knowing is of no equity. So 2020 Tantra and Crown Tantra, info in the description. People will tell you anything about limitation. I'm going to be Arab in a year, then I'll be Hindu in 2, and then I'll be dark skinned in 5. So yeah.